Just a Moodle tutorial on tips and tricks on using the book module in Moodle. For those users who are going to brave and try to use the book module in Moodle for their project, if you scroll down, we've added in topic 5 where the projects will be based. You may notice you just request this, we'll create this book for you, and then your team will have access to edit it. Only your team will have access. You notice that this is gray. No one else will see it until you are completely ready to share it with the rest of the group. Once you click on your book module, it'll open up and you can see that this is a template that we have talked about for our projects. And so you see we have the different pages of the topics where you can fill in the standards, 21st century skills, uncheck which ones you don't need, what are the products, what's the assessments, where you can tie your rubrics. We'll talk about that, and resources. This is considered a book module because if you noticed on the right hand side we actually have on the top and on the bottom places where you can turn pages. So I can turn to the next page and to the next page. So your question may be, how can I edit in this particular book module? From the settings, which is customized per object you're working with, I turn on my editing. Now, your settings may be docked underneath your table of contents. I typically just over here is move my settings block to the dock. It's always easier for me to find it when it's located in one spot. So I'm going to go turn my settings for my book administration and turn the editing on, the bottom editing. And when I turn that on, you'll notice that we get our action icons. So if I scroll to the bottom here, you can see here, we'll look at the project calendar. We've got 3 weeks, and we'll talk about these different tools. This is a move button, edit button, delete button, hide button, and add button. So I'm going to show you. Let's say this was a 4-week project. I click on there, and whoops, excuse me, got to put my title in there, and this is required to put some information of what they're going to do. You've got your bullets and so on, and you can use it just like a email editor. Hit save, and now if I scroll down, you see that I have 4 chapters. Now we'll go with the move buttons. If I hit this button, you'll see how I can reorganize my pages in my book. 1, 2, 4, 3. I'll move this one back up, put them in back in order. So you have a move function. You actually have a delete option. I'll delete this function for week 4. It does give you a warning before you delete it, so you shouldn't accidentally delete anything. I'll continue. Now you notice we're back to 3 weeks. Let's say we only want to discuss 3 weeks. I want to hide this because I'm not too sure if I'm going to use it. This is this option for action. Once I click on it, you'll see that it turns the icon to an eye with a patch over it, so it's to hide it. So when I go to settings, turn my settings off, you can see I'm only showing 2 weeks now. If I go to settings, turn my editing on, I can make it visible. So now when we go to our settings, turn editing off, we have them. What's really nice about hiding and showing is that's where you can add your teacher content, so the students don't have to look at it, but the teachers can. When they turn their editing on, they can see what features are there. Now let's say you want to edit content in this. Let's just pretend we're going to add some content standards. So once we click on edit for the content standards, opens up is that topic. Now if you notice, people don't like to type in HTML. It unfortunately defaults this when we import, so you just say I want to go in HTML, save this that content. So now when I go back to edit my content standards, you will notice that it now comes with your HTML editor, which allows you to edit things the way you want. This here window These are pretty self-explanatory. This one here is the full screen, so when I click on it, it toggles to a full screen, so I can literally type my standards here that are going to be addressed. Remember, this here auto links, so if you knew it was a math standard and it was from grade 5, and let's say it was with geometry and it was a second one, then I could type out the name. Actually, you can copy and paste that right from this here particular Common Core page. I'm going to toggle back into my window. Of course, I could have just typed that in this little window and resized it this way. It's up to you. I'll hit Save Changes, and you will notice that whenever you put the identifier in there, it will automatically link to the global glossary, so you can see the icons, so you don't have to rewrite them over and over and over. I am going to turn my settings off, and you can see how easy it is to add content, edit content in your book module.